Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Well, pretty doggone good. Got out for my 6 a.m. workout, walked the dog, had breakfast.
Man, you got your day half done.
Oh, man, I'm ready for a nap.
It's kind of chilly out in the mornings these days, isn't it?
I'm leaving the house with a jacket on.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
take the dog out for her morning walk around the property and
yeah.
it's definitely put my fleece coat on weather.
Well, yeah, I have been wearing really light jackets and thinking it's fleece season.
Yep.
I wore one of my favorite jackets is a rotary fleece jacket.
Uh-huh.
And I wore it yesterday to football practice with one of my grandsons, and thinking, it's nice. It's usually warm when they start practice, but when the sun's gone down,
Right.
it's chilly out. It's cold.
Yeah. It's got that fall feeling. And then somebody had the nerve to tell me the other day, this was 2 days ago, I think, that there's 6 more days of summer. I went, no.
I don't think there's that many left. I thought
No,
it
well,
was
that
like
was a
on the
couple
top.
of days ago. So I think, what is
Oh,
it, 22nd or 23rd is
yeah,
when the season changes. And I'm like,
yeah. It's
as
coming
long
up.
as long as the air's good, I want it to stay nice. But
I
we,
even wore a t-shirt for the first time this morning with my short sleeve shirt, thinking, it's about time to get the long sleeve shirts out.
yeah, I've got long sleeves on. But
Well, are we it here this morning?
well, it makes me wonder. Let me look at the participants and make sure that there's no other people waiting to get in. Nope, we're it.
Oh,
I better keep my phone handy in case somebody emails me. I didn't send out any notices, so
yeah.
I don't know if I think Bruce did a P-mail. I usually do a P-mail. I do a P-mail reminder the day before.
Yeah, I don't think one went out. The meeting is on the district calendar though. That's how I got
Link.
my link. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have the same recurring link on my calendar every month because it's been the same. I think Bruce plans to change it in a couple months. Next month, I've got a speaker lined up for us. Oh, there's Bruce right there, who is a young member. I think I've talked about him at the district line meeting that he's got
Yes.
some new young ideas for membership attraction. Good morning,
Sounds
Bruce.
exciting.
Good morning. Hey,
Good
Joe.
morning, Bruce.
Angela Lopez is checking in from Arizona, although she's a zone membership coordinator.
No, look forward to having her along.
I'm watching the people in the waiting room.
We can get her input. I'm going to try to channel my best John Chase on this. Actually, Jennifer did this portion on the, so I'll be channeling Jennifer.
Okay. Hi, Angela.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Oh, your voice is delayed or something.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
guess
go up to my computer, but in just a second. But I'm gonna turn my camera off, but I'm here and I'm excited to hear what you guys got going on today.
well, this is Bruce Allen's first district membership chair forum. So, and he's going to do the piece on onboarding from membership in a box.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're gonna take a little portion of the zone and try to channel a little John Chase or see what we can do on this. But
Awesome. I hope they like it as much as everybody else liked it at the session.
well,
Yeah.
if we can do half as good as they did, a great program. So all we can do is try to clone it.
We have our program on Saturday, October 28th
28th.
from 9 to 11.
Okay.
And you're certainly welcome to join us if you can make it, and you can sing back up or
Send the.
Go ahead and send me a link. Yeah.
We
I'll
will.
see.
I'll do that. Oh, here, let me write a note. I'll do that right now.
Angela.lopez@rotary.org.
Yep.
You guys have got the easiest emails to remember.
Right. Yes.
I'll do it now. I've got to work on my being able to talk and run a meeting at the same time and do other stuff in the back.
Awesome.
Now, Bruce, you sent out the invites and everything to everybody, right? Usually by now some people are here besides just us.
I know. Maybe I have made a mistake.
I'm watching my phone for anybody that says, hey, where are you? Maybe they think it's, I don't know.
Maybe I have made
Did you send out a reminder yesterday?
I put it in the newsletter. And do you send them out directly to all of the?
Yeah, I send out a email to the membership chairs, the presidents and the president-elects.
Well,
the
that would
Monday
be
before.
that may be a critical mistake I just did.
People forget.
We may have a very lonely meeting right now.
Well, it'll give
And
you
I didn't do that.
practice and room for.
So we email just go on to DACDB. There's obviously the 52 registered membership directors. Is that where we go?
Yeah, I can have a Zoom meeting with you if you want, or even maybe at RLI we'd get a minute. I don't know, that might not happen, and show you how to where you put in and where you find all those guys. Because
I know DACDB fairly well enough to be dangerous, and I know where to pull up the.
Well, you hit the to box for who you want to send it to.
Yeah.
And then you put district committees, I think it's called. And then I always hit the AGs and the E8 and the assistant AGs, or AG elects or whatever they're called.
The assistant AGs.
And then I go down to the clubs and I hit club membership chair, president and president-elect. And then I go down to the district and hit the Rotary district leadership team.
Okay,
so you're getting the whole leadership team, you're getting all the presidents and membership chairs, because every club doesn't have all three. If you hit membership chair, president, and president-elect, you're going to get somebody from every club. And then the AGs, of course. Yeah, I figured out a long time ago that you've got to really build in some redundancies, because I would like to think that people are going to put it on their calendar the first time I tell them.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Even at the club level, you have to kind of remember, even your board members, you kind of give them a little ping, a couple of days ahead of time, just to let them know they have one. Shame on me. I should have done this.
Well, I expect you to double your attendance by the next time.
Well, you got the next forum, but yes, that's the whole idea, is to get more people involved in this thing.
Oh, here's Janice Payne is emailing me. I lost the link. Can you resend it? Okay.
You're the host on this one. Yeah, we probably have to revisit. We'll probably have to revisit this one more time on getting the Zoom links out correctly, so we don't make this mistake again, or I don't make the mistake again.
I think what I'm going to do.
So I guess we should really. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to try to do a quick email to everybody right now and send them the link, but by the time I do it, it'll be 20 after.
Yeah, I may have done a very.
So I guess not. Well, if a lot of people are whining that they didn't get the link and don't know what they're doing, then she just said she lost the link. So she didn't say she didn't have it.
Yeah, let her think it's her fault.
Now, I'm not going to say anything either way. I'm just going to say, here's the link.
We'll just have to cherish those that did show up. So, Angela, thank you. And Joe, of course. Thank you very much. You two are our favorites.
Hey, Bruce, while I'm thinking of it, you mentioned Christine mentioned President-elects. How's it going with Philomath and Corvallis after 5?
I am meeting Corvallis after 5 tonight to talk to Jennifer. Dan is a little bit more of a tough nut over in Philomath. He is, he is a ship captain, has been in the Navy for many, many years. I don't think they like to give up command. We've talked a little bit about it. I spent some time.
Till you get up to the president, you're under somebody else's command.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, just because you step down as president doesn't mean you're out of the whole responsibility level, buddy. So yeah, we had a little talk. We were at a membership, a Sunday morning farmers market, and we had a banner out there. We had a chance to sit down and kind of go over the things, and he is looking, but he's just, his club is very, very small, and he's having a hard time trying to get people to step up. And I said, well, you got one of two things to do. You either have to, you have to come at it from a heavy mentoring process, getting somebody that's, or you got to recruit. You just got to go out and start looking for more members, more people, more leaders, looking at that leadership level. But it's very hard to get attraction. He's down to about 12 members. I think he's got about 8 that are active at his club itself, and he really needs to work on the membership line. He's not a very engaging outside his club person. We spent a lot of time talking to him, like I said, a little tougher nut to crack. But Jennifer, on the other hand, we'll see. We'll have a better understanding tonight. I know she really, really wants to get that PE going.
Good.
On a positive standpoint, thank you very much for their venue did change, and I went in and talked to them and got the right address and updated DACDB, and not only for but she had it. Rob Thurston is doing a grant tonight, and I noticed there was a couple other things that had come up, and the address was correct on the venue for the new venue. So I was like, hooray! That information would have been wrong if we hadn't had that correctly.
Hey, we have Brookings Harbor joining us. This is Janice Payne.
Hello.
Hi, Janice. How are you?
Well, I'm getting ready, so I'm not getting a camera on me.
Oh,
Okay.
stop. Your dog is so cute. He or she is stealing the show anyway.
Yeah, right. She's much cuter than I am.
That's adorable pup.
Did you get a link, Janice, and lose it? Or
Yeah, I had it scheduled on my calendar, but that link wasn't good anymore.
Well, we have kind of a paltry turnout today, so that's what I was. We're going to work on that.
That's okay.
Bruce Allen, I'm going to introduce him real quick and turn the whole thing over to him. Bruce is our new district membership chair. Yay! Because I can focus now on district governor nominee stuff, which turns out to be a bigger bag of tricks than I realized, but all good. So Bruce, it's all yours until 11 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Eventually I will need you to turn over a screen share for the hosting.
You already got it.
Excellent.
There she is. I saw you, Janice.
Hey,
Nice.
perfect.
Angela's got her.
Thanks, Angela. Okay, what we'd like to, we'll call this a dry run. What we're looking to do, is it Janice? Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
I'm trying to compose the beginning. I'm not thinking about, I'm changing the intro into everything. Our goal right now is the zone had an excellent training seminar, both in July and August, and put on by John Chase and Jennifer Duroin. And we are looking to create that training in October 28th. What we've done is we've broken down a couple of the smaller segments. One of them I was going to present today about onboarding. And the idea is to get in front of the clubs, get their mindset a little bit stronger, and awareness of membership, not only how it means, but how to implement that through many, many different ideas. The idea is to use the forum as what works. Each club is differently. So some ideas will work for the club, some clubs, and some won't. So the idea is to use this forum as an ability to exchange. So I'm going to put together a little 15-minute program, and then we are going to talk about it. So with that, we're going to put you on the screen. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see if I can get, there we are. There it is. Okay, crap, I forgot to put credits for the music in this thing as well. Stolen from John Chase. Membership onboarding. So the idea is, what is onboarding new members? What's involved? What does it really mean? Ironically, I think this picture of the two gentlemen watering the tree have nothing to do with onboarding, but it makes a nice picture. And so we're going to use it because John Chase used it, and he is my mentor. When we talk about onboarding and when we talk about new members, we have broken it down into three different things: value alignment, induction, and then the actual onboarding. Onboarding can be considered orientation. It can be how we do fireside chats. I was actually lucky enough to be brought in at one time by an actual fireside chat. So we're gonna look at these three phases and break them down a little bit, and then open it up for discussion. So the value alignment interview, as I said earlier before, each club is different, but there's still a set of ideas and goals. So we really want to meet with that club or that new member and go over something as simplistic as, tell me a little bit about yourself. I noticed they're holding coffee, and in the Northwest, that's a pretty good idea to meet over coffee. Greater Corvallis has put together a Rotary Wave, which is a series of coffee meetings with their clubs. And I think this is what they do during those, the board members do it. So when you do this, you're learning about this new member. At this point in time, they may not actually be ready for induction. This is just kind of an interview process. So how did you find out about Rotary? You want to know about them, not only personally as well as professionally. What is appealing? What are their ideas? Why do they want to be part of Rotary? What are their expectations? Here, we're going to move this over a little bit. And then as Chris always warns me, ask a question and then just shut up. Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Let them talk. So what are their expectations? And then what else? And then what else? It's very common, especially in the business industry with customers, is to ask the same question 3 times. And normally on that third time, you really kind of get to what their true thoughts are. Maybe not a good way to say it, but pretty much what they're thinking. So that's why it says what else, and then ask again what else, and kind of get an idea of what their expectations. Very, very important. I love this question. If we ended up deciding this was the right fit, it's 1 year from now, how would you describe your experience more in detail? Maybe you shouldn't accept I don't know, maybe it should be something, you might have to prod this one a little bit more, but it kind of tells you a back way into what their thoughts are about what it would be like to be part of a Rotary Club. So then you're asking simple questions now. Again, these are ideas, not everything, adapt, not adopt. You really want to get an idea of what's good for what works for you. So how do you think you could contribute to the club's success? This is a pretty good, that's a pretty strong question. And then you're managing your expectations. Is this what they really want? Money. What are due structures? This is a good time to maybe say this is part of the due structure. I don't like to launch into the Paul Harris Foundation just yet, but it is something that you want to let them know is available to them. How much time do they think they're going to spend? What talents? If you have somebody that has a background in bookkeeping, that may be a treasure in the waiting. If they're public image, Chris is perfect about looking and finding out what the talents of their members are, and utilizing them to help strengthen their club. And if not us, then who? If Rotary isn't what you think it is, then what do you really think? These are just alignment questions. I think they're a great way to get to know somebody and a great way to understand the possibilities of that new member that you're looking at onboarding. So with that, the onboarding process. I like this idea right here, because it's like, this is a great way to remember the things you really want to tell somebody as they come on board. Welcome to Rotary. There's that nice big, as a new member, we've used that phrase, drinking out of a fire hose. So this is an idea of kind of to give some highlights of things that you want to make sure that they understand. And it may be something as simplistic as getting them registered with DAC-DB. I think the secretary needs to get them on board, but it can be overwhelming for them. So this is where that mentor, which I'm a big believer in, can help them get them onto DAC-DB. Hopefully somebody in your club has that ability. We are lucky enough to have Steve Mathis, who is the DAC-DB king. But let's get them logged in. Let's get them to understand what tool that they have right here when it comes to communicating. Help wanted, which clubs? We'd love to see somebody, whether it's in membership, fundraising. How do we get somebody engaged with a club? Well, let's get them on a committee. Don't really believe in committees of one, so let's not kind of say, oh, by the way, we need a membership chair, you're up. It's more of a get them interacting with other club members. The Learning Center, big believer in this. There is so much, for lack of better words, to learn at the Learning Center. But again, you want to really slowly work them through this process, helping them log into RI, introducing them to the district websites, introducing them to, Rotary Club Central and things of that nature. These are just the onboarding ideas, making them aware. So here's an interesting question, and maybe Angela might be able to help us with some of this. And what I mean by that is, here is a series of steps to be taken, and they call them email drips. Chris and I were talking about whether this is something that the district, the zone, or RI is going to do, or this is something that's going to happen at the club level. But as you look at their value alignment interviews, and then they go into the induction, and you bring them into the club, and you introduce them, within 7 days, you want to kind of get them into DAC-DB, which is our club software. And then within about 2 weeks, and this is a good way of pacing the new member, let's get them involved in the social media accounts. Let them know if the Facebook pages, let them know about the newsletter, and just the things that they can do. DAC-DB, just for the district calendar alone, which as new members, that may be a bit much. And then at 3 weeks, that's the Rotary Basic course and My Rotary account. By about 3 weeks, I'd love to have them actually in RI. This is where that Learning Center comes in. This is where they can look at their personal data, but they can look at the opportunities. Angela, isn't it some astronomical number, like 1,500 actual courses in RI? I think I've done like 1,300 of them, but
in the Learning Center, yeah, there's so much. Something I really like to point out about the Learning Center is it's not only getting to know Rotary stuff, but there's real leadership development there too.
Thank you very much. That's so true. I am learning, and it's probably the most professionally put on courses that I've taken. Just really, really enjoy those. You can spend a Saturday morning at RL Learning Center if you really want to get over involved. 4 weeks mentor check-in. I believe that every new member should have some sort of mentor, some sort of person. I think Jennifer had talked about the stickiness factor and how to get in someone, a friend, somebody that you contact with a club for questions. And just a way to keep an eye on their progress, so they're not going to feel like they're out there alone. 6 weeks email regarding opening jobs and link to the club website. Again, this is letting them know what positions in the club are available. And sometimes it's not just what the club needs. Sometimes it's what their forte is. But keep in mind, just because they're an accountant doesn't mean they want to become a treasurer or a bookkeeper. They might want to be in public image. They might actually want to do something they have a passion for rather than something that they know they have a vocation for, which I'm finding out can be two different things. So at 3 months, you really want to have a check-in with your mentor. Cup of coffee, how they doing, questions, things of that nature. And then we're back at 4 months. Email learning suggestions. Maybe this is where we need to be proactive. Maybe say, hey, here's a couple of things. Maybe if you're in fundraising, or maybe if you're in membership, here are some suggestions of some courses in the Learning Center you might want to look at. Make them aware of it. The next thing is 6 months new member dinner. I love this part. I would love to see every club be able to create some sort of social atmosphere. Let's celebrate new members. Let them feeling belonging. Let's get new members. Just for the club engagement itself, it's nice to take a social event. And it doesn't have to be a dinner. It might be able to do, I was at a Knights game the other day in Corvallis, which was fantastic for Corvallis Club. A lot of clubs do have some social events. So let's see if we can kind of make sure that there's something for new members in there. Again, 8 months with a check-in, and then 12 months. You are celebrating their 1-year anniversary. And that kind of comes back to the question of, hey, was Rotary everything you thought it was? And this is just a 12-month checkoff list, maybe, but it's just a way to kind of slowly portion their onboarding process. Here's personal events. If you had to bring it down to just the personal events, this is a summary. You're starting with a value to make sure the person is the same. Excuse me. You're starting with an alignment to make sure that they have the same ideas and goals, and they're blending well with the club. You're inducting them. Your 4 weeks. That mentor, really, really important to assign a mentor if you can. Normally, that's the person that recommended them, but it could be anybody. 8 months mentoring check-in. The 6 month dinner. Oh, backwards. I'm doing it backwards. 3 months mentor check-in. 6 months you're in the dinner. I think you should celebrate success anytime you can. It's a great club engagement. I'm a big believer in the red badge and the blue badge. If you use the red badge, if it is managed correctly, it is a great way for club members to know that you have a new member and go up and introduce themselves and make them feel part of the club. The idea is to do anything but try to isolate them. We really just don't want them feeling, here's where you sit, this is where you stay, and we'll put you on a committee and let us know if you have any questions. And I really want to stay away from that. Anything we can do to keep them invited and engaged during this onboarding process. And of course, there's the celebration again. So that's kind of the quick survey. So Janice, I know there's a lot of questions that may come up about attraction, but for this particular segment, we are going to focus on onboarding. We have the orientation. So you've done your orientation, you've discovered their needs, you discovered the club and how you can meld them. You're going to work on getting them connected. So the idea is to try to get them active. It's very important to try to get them not so much on a committee, but doing something that's engaging with the club, whether it's a community event, something to get them to meet friends and kind of break that ice. That mentor's got to be involved, and friendship. You just really want to, you want to create that fellowship. And if we've done our job correctly, we should be well within that realm of success. So as we look at onboarding and the discussions, this is in the actual training seminar, we'll be talking about breaking out. And these are some of the questions we would bring to a breakout session. We can definitely talk about them today. And it might be, what was your personal experience when joining the club? I love that feedback. I want to know if people are like, well, I felt outcast, or I felt I felt very warm. I walked into clubs, both as a district member and as an individual Rotarian, and been very warmly welcomed. And then I've been into clubs that aren't. So I think we really need to know how we are perceived by people. What are some of the innovative onboarding ideas that enhance member participation? This is where you want your membership chairs in their training session talking about positive. What worked for you? This is where those new ideas are coming out. Last but not least, what are some of the practices that would enable the sustainability of onboarding process? Each club is different, but what are some of the success stories? We want to keep that positiveness. What has worked? We can beat ourselves to death worrying about how we failed, but let's really talk about and this is where facilitators can help with us, is what can we really do to talk about the things that have worked and how we can perpetuate that within other clubs. And so with that, we would go into a breakout session. Actually, just long before we leave, you introduce them. This is back to my RI influence. I love this one. There are 2 tools that you can create or are created. There's the club health check and the membership assessment. These are some great questions that you can ask yourself as a membership chair or as a president. How do we look? What can we do? Do we have a greeter? Do we have somebody checking in? Do we have mentors for our people? So these are very, very important things and tools that are easily accessible. And so with that, we would go into breakout sessions and we would discuss some of those. Any big questions, any questions that I've missed that can't be answered here? There's my email. Please email me with anything that you want to know more about. And with that, I will leave it up to the group to break into some discussions. Thank you very much for your time.
So where did you leave your email?
Oh, it was on the last slide. Sorry. See if I can bring it back.
Oh, I thought you put in the chat.
Nope, it's right there. Can everyone see that?
No, there it is.
You're not sharing your screen. Maybe you could just put it in the chat, though. That's good.
Well, first of all, we'll do that.
Okay,
Okay.
there it is.
And then I will go ahead. That's the one thing I didn't realize. When you have a PowerPoint up, you can't, your chat's at the top of the screen. And that's a lot of stuff coming at you when you're reading very well. So I am terrible at chats. And I was going to talk about that later, Chris, about how I might you need your help during training to kind of keep an eye on those chats. And I'll do that if we're still on.
There's a lot of things you're juggling.
Oh, you bet.
Because I've been keeping my eye on. I noticed Janice, darn it, rejoined and then popped out on whatever she joined in first. And you know, you just always have to, you always have to keep your eye on new people coming in, because somebody might be 15 minutes late. And if you don't notice that there's somebody in the waiting room, it's not very polite to just leave them there.
No, it's not. Well, for the training seminar, I think we'll definitely have to double team that. I think there's definitely going to be a breakout. We're going to be looking at breakout rooms. We're going to be looking at people joining. But well, with that, Angela, we'll start with you on what do you think?
Well, I obviously really love this program and thank you for talking about it. I wanted to mention that with the Red Badge program, something that I've seen people have, so some people are divided about the Red Badge programs, and some way to mitigate that, I think, is almost creating a little point system where there's a long list of some things that you could do to earn your Red Badge, and you can choose to do, you know, whatever you would like to get to there. So for example, some people have on their Red Badge program a task that somebody doesn't want to complete. So they wound up never completing the list. Whereas if there was more on the list than they would actually need to do, you might say you need to complete 10 of these 15 things, or you need to, some are worth more points than the other and you need to get 100 points or something like that. And then it just allows them to see all the different things that they can do and kind of curate their experience.
I like that.
Well, that's a good point, because I mean, it's amazing. I've been into several clubs where they don't wear badges at all. There's not even a badge. And then I've been in other places where, you're not even into their meeting room before they're saying, "Where's your badge?" So there are, that is one of those kind of different, how clubs are different, whether they focus on badges or not. And then I agree with you. I've heard many people on both sides. And so that is a personal club decision. I just feel, as Joe can attest, we've had that type of system. And over the years, there are some presidents that have really believed in it, and some presidents that are, it's not a priority for them. But we had a pretty good, I don't know, what do you think, Joe? Was it 10 or maybe 15, a list of things like go see other clubs, attend a board meeting, and it was a nice task list. And it was, your mentor used to kind of sit there with you and check it off and make sure that was literally what you had to kind of sign and turn in order to get from a red to a blue. And then, like, as I had mentioned, some presidents grab them up at the front and kind of make a good ceremony of switching it from red to blue. And then other clubs just, it would be hard for me to put a percentage of success, because I'm a believer in it. So I think that the more you do it, and if it's maintained, managed properly, I think it would be a good tool. But I can't.
When people are trying to figure out what to do for a mentoring program, it'll at the very least a fantastic place to start.
Yeah.
Because some people have created really beautiful and robust membership or orientation programs with fireside chats and all these different things. And they're a lot of work, and it's fantastic if you're willing to do it and keep it consistent. But something like the Red Badge program is a very good place to start if you've got nothing, and I'm not saying it's bad. I have it in my club and I institute it in my club, and but I just know that some people don't like it, so I wanted to just represent that point of view. But I think that there's a lot of ways to do it, and so it could work.
Yeah, well, it's just one arrow it's one of many structures that we can create. Janice, do you have any questions or anything to add? What do you think?
Well, Janice.
Janice, God, I've been listening to Chris.
That's okay.
It's all her fault. I'm sorry, Janice.
Everybody mispronounces it.
That's the last time I will.
Well, the Brookings Harbor Rotary Club went from a red badge and a blue badge to a blue badge with a red flag on it that says new member. It's a ribbon, that hangs down from not a flag, I guess, but we do kind of the same thing. We have a list of things: attend a board meeting, visit another club, go to an orientation, other things like that I can't even list off the top of my head. But I'm real excited about the mentoring. I have only been kind of made aware of mentoring in the last month or so. And so this is just, your talk today kind of made it really clear that that's something that I need to encourage in my club. And I have a brand new member that I sponsored, so I'm going to be her mentor. I'm just going to do that because I invited her in, and it's just such a good idea. Let's introduce her to DAC-DB. My daughter too, she's like, I've kind of been her unofficial mentor because she says, "Mom, what do I do? Mom, what do I do? What's this? What's this?" So she had, and if it was another president, she may not be asking them those questions because I see her all the time outside of the meeting. So I'm just kind of excited about talking about it. I'm going to put it on the agenda for today's meeting, and which is at noon, and bring it up and get started on it.
Well, I think for years there's been a lot of clubs that have got kind of a bad reputation. They bring on new members and they kind of say, okay, you sit here. And I think this is a good way of just helping structure with clubs kind of a more positive step for bringing, members on, more positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
What have you had, as you were saying about the red badge, have you had any, what are your successes? I mean, have you had any feedback? As you said before, the mentoring is new, but bringing on club new members is, have you thought about those interviews?
I actually downloaded the interview. I have to let my dog out, sorry.
Oh, that's important.
Either that or she'll get real noisy.
I had a great date, and it would come up and nudge me at 2 a.m, and that got me out of bed immediately, because bad things were going to happen very quickly if you didn't. So
Right.
I'm very well trained to get that dog outside if it wants to be.
Well, she's a great dog. But I haven't used any of those interview, the exit. I've got an exit interview. I downloaded that from the my Rotary site somewhere, and the entrance interview, and there's another one. I can't remember what it is, but there's 3 different interviews for collecting data that you can use to improve your club, which is, I think, what they're for. So I haven't used them.
Well,
but, in my defense, I was, this is my second year as being president. The first year I fell and broke my kneecap on July 11th, was in bed rest for 4 months in a wheelchair. I could get out and be in a wheelchair, but in the most pain I've ever been in my life.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But even then, when I agreed to become president, I had been in the club for 1, 2, 3 years, and I didn't know what Rotary was about. Nobody had mentored me. Nobody had talked to me about kind of anything. I didn't get onto DAC-DB until I became president. So those are things that I just felt quite ill prepared when I became president. And then, of course, I wasn't even there for a while. And now I'm in my second year, and I actually was able to attend PETS. So I feel like I'm a lot more prepared, but I've got some health issues going on now, and I'm struggling to make time for everything.
Wow. Well, hang in there. I mean, you're lucky you have. One of the things that I think is totally underestimated with presidents is the fact that, obviously I'll toot my own horn from an assistant governor, but you have lots of mentors. You can always email your assistant governor. You can always reach out to the district chair. Your district governor nominee will always be able to answer the phone if you need her. But no, you have some great resources that are always willing to help as a president. So, my theory has always been never be scared to help. And I really want to kind of move that into new members, because new members come in and they're very quiet. They kind of look around and they don't always react back to the rest of the club. And I just feel that we need to, almost beat it to death with, hey, you really are joining something bigger than yourself. And as you said earlier, you really weren't quite aware of what Rotary was when you started, and that, shame on us. So all we can do is help with that training. Of course, it doesn't help you do bonehead moves and don't invite everybody, but sorry. Oh, Chris has her hand up.
I do. I'm trying to be so good.
Oh, let's call
Unlikely.
on Joe. Do you have anything? No, sorry. Sense of humor. Yes, Chris.
A couple of things I perked up when Angela was talking about a point system, because our old blue badge system at Southtown Rotary Club required that the new member get up and give a bio. And we had some red badge members that had been red badge members for 2 years because
Wow.
they had not given their bio. And some of them we would just do an interview with them. So then we'd ask them questions and they could answer. And that wasn't like a prepared speech. And it was a lot easier for them to do that. But I like the point system idea. Angela, I'm wondering if you have a list of like those 15 things of which they could check off 10 of them that you could send out in. I haven't talked to Bruce about sending out the recap of the forum the next day. So I will send it out tomorrow along with the video recording of what we talked about, which is put on our YouTube channel, which I'll also send out. But Angela, do you have something like that you could send me?
I don't have anything that is written right now with all the points. I have a couple of different examples of red badge lists, in which people usually just take from
Right.
that. So
that would be great though. Wouldn't it be great to build a collective list
Yeah.
of, and then each club can decide which of those things on that list should go on their red badge if they have the red badge, or the red ribbon for a new member, however the idea is to onboard, right? So, how do we make our people comfortable? And I remember Mark Miranda, the treasurer from the Newport Club and assistant governor, was present when we had a forum on introverts. And he says, every new member is an introvert. So, we can't expect them to just jump in. So we have to treat them like they're an introvert and guide them. And that's where that mentor thing. The other thing is that my club has a mentor guide that actually tells mentors what to do. I don't say that it's the be all end all, because for our club, we might have different stipulations to get that blue badge than other clubs do, but it's a Word document and it would be very easy to rewrite, to
Fit your own club.
edit and make it your own. So I could send that out tomorrow if that's something that people are interested in.
I would love to have it.
And Angela, I'll share things uphill with you too, because I know you probably collect all that kind of stuff. And we're all here to grow together. So
Angela, I remember you from Pets, and what is your title? You're a membership
I got it.
coordinator.
I got it. She's the regional membership coordinator.
Okay.
Officer.
Huh?
Officer.
Oh,
Officer.
man.
Officer.
I demoted you. I demoted you.
Close.
She's an officer. Anyway, I'm still working on that.
Regional membership officer.
She's
Right.
Angela. And when we were talking about you have a support system, Angela doesn't sit aloft on some cloud and look down upon us. She's very approachable, very easy to contact. Angela.lopez@rotary.org. And she's very responsive and helpful. So I love Angela.
And I did just get confirmed I will be at Pacific Northwest Pets. So I'll be up there again.
Excellent. Oh, we have lots to talk about.
And Chris, I'll be in San Diego in November.
Good deal.
Even better.
Bruce will be there too,
I will
because
be
he's
there
at
too.
least an emerging leader.
Oh,
And
awesome.
I say that
Yeah.
without going into more details.
You have more to do.
There's like a DMC meeting as well. So
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think, pretty much the big theme is even though all clubs are different, the biggest thing is the more we can do to engage those new members, whether it's socially or through projects or through committees, the more welcoming we are, the easier. If we have a kind of a good understanding of onboarding, which is what today's meeting is about, and that may be something as simplistic as, have you talked about these following subjects? Because sometimes they get lost. Sometimes you get very, very busy. Have you talked to them about maybe even dues? I don't even think anyone really told me about dues 100 years ago until afterwards, but it might be part of that membership. And so it's nice to kind of, these are good things to look back to remember as we're bringing in people. It's that old saying, how did you feel when you first came on as a Rotarian? How do we use those experiences to make the experience better for others? And I think just the more engaging we bring in, learning their values, that interview process is very difficult if you don't do it a lot. But once you start doing it, whether it's exit interviews, entrance interviews, membership interviews, the more that you kind of sit down and honestly ask, what are your thoughts or what are your expectations? The easier they get. And I think the better we can gather information off of that. Because the first thing I'm going to do when I get off of here, because I'm terrible at trying to multitask a Zoom meeting, so I'll send you your email, but Angela, your invitation. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email to Chris and go, I definitely need feedback on this meeting and where can we go forward on this thing, so I don't forget stuff.
Practice makes better.
It is. That's my calling
Never
card.
makes
Is
perfect. Never makes perfect.
I don't know how many mistakes I got to make to get better, but I'm willing to make every one of them. But okay, are we in a good place? Have we had some good things to talk about?
I just put one question for Angela in the chat that we kind of left that one hanging. We haven't heard from Joe.
Yeah, I think not too much to say to add. In my club, I was the membership chair very briefly, but we had 2 or 3 people that were really good. And I think the strength of all of these mentoring programs, et cetera, is having one designed on paper that everybody agrees to.
Yeah.
And second, having a membership chair that follows up week after week and month after month, year after year, to make sure that things get done. I've seen a lot of clubs, or several clubs, start mentoring programs that lasted about a month, and people lost interest. There were no reminders. There was no follow-up. So the membership chair is really the key person for the success of these programs. And then it goes up to, I think, the district leadership group to remind the membership chairs that if they've got a mentoring program, how's it going? What are the steps? What's the schedule? Who's keeping track of the success of it and the implementation? So that's the one thing I would emphasize, is the importance of the club's membership chair in implementing and follow up. In my club, Janice, we had so much objection to red badges that what we did in that whole process, it floated out there in the club wins from year to year. We had a process, but it wasn't consistently followed. And so we just decided, okay, after 3 months, anybody that comes in as a red badge member is automatically changed to a blue badge after 90 days. And that's still the rule in our club. Again, it falls to that membership committee chair to make sure that onboarding process is being followed up with each one of those new members.
Thanks,
Well,
Joe.
we've got a new membership share, and I'm thinking, with Les out with his Les Cohen, you guys know him? Anyway, he's out with cancer, throat cancer.
Oh.
So our new membership chair is relatively new to Rotary. She's been in maybe less than a year, and she should be attending these meetings, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So how do I get her on the list so that she can that she gets the link sent to her?
Is she in DAC-DB? Is she registered as a membership chair?
I don't think so, not yet.
Well, she has to be. If she is, she'll automatically populate a list, and then it takes a wise and diligent district membership chair to actually email the invitations out to these people. But yes, she should be included, but it all starts with DAC-DB. Angela, we'll get back to you. I'm sorry. On those email drips, is that a district or is that a club generated email? And if it is there some sort of form or is there some sort of template that we should be utilizing?
I can check the box that they keep all their information in, because I do think that this is a club, but I'm not 100% sure. Just because a district, like when I think about the district membership committee perspective, to be able to know like who came in and how long they've been in and like starting this drip, I think is would need to be like too big of a task. And so I really do think that it's something that they're suggesting that clubs build out, being like this, make sure you follow up with them about this at this time and make sure you follow up with them about that at that time. And so those are suggestions of what kinds of emails you could send at what points. But I am not 100% sure.
Yeah, well, because after our initial train the trainer program for that event, I called up Jennifer and I said, tell me more about that thing, because that email drip sounds like a really cool idea. And she suggested, but it didn't sound like it was fleshed out yet, that either the zone or RI would do it once it's in DAC-DB, then the RI has the record of that new member, and then they initiate that drip of the video and here's I don't know about DAC-DB because everybody isn't on that, but here's the RI Learning Center and some of those big picture things that the club should also be following up. But it's I understood that it was a support mechanism for the club's membership efforts, that those new members would be getting these emails. So I'm still looking to clarify that at some point, because
it's not RI. I'll tell you that it's not RI. RI does send one email when they first join, but that's it. And then so it's for sure not RI.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if that is something that they had planned to send out from a zone level.
Right. Right. It just seemed like trying to get every club to do that is like having every club do a mentor, or a red badge.
Every club that wants to grow membership, that will grow membership if they truly get involved on it. And it's the same thing with these emails. If they consider it a level of importance, and my role to keep it in front of them, in their forefront of their memory, if I can jog them through whether email, some level of communication that they should be doing it, as Joe said, is if we can keep the ball rolling, I think it would become more effective. Somebody's got to have the energy to stay behind this thing, and right now it's on my shoulders.
But with that logic that you used, which is 100% exactly right, not everybody does a red badge, not everybody does these mentor programs, which is why I really think that those emails would be the club responsibility. Because if you're not doing this sort of program where you're like doing with this little snake that had all the different objectives and all the different tasks, if you weren't doing that, a club might be like, why do you keep on sending all this information to my members when like I'm trying to teach them this other thing and you're teaching them this other thing? So That's why I really do think that that would come from clubs,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's still, it really
I
should be
thought,
clarified.
I'm trying to find that slide again, but I thought most of the things on the slide, with the exception of DAC-DB, were things like the learning center. Here's what the foundation, that, is just big picture stuff that people like Janice, who had been in Rotary for 3 years, finds herself president, didn't go to pets because probably COVID, I'm guessing, or her own injury, miss out on that stuff. And if we, if they don't know, then they're not getting the information to the new member. And I was excited by that concept, that it might be some support for the districts and the clubs that would help with that big picture thing. Yes, we still need to follow up with them on DAC-DB, and here's how each club does their red badge, and here's what our social program, we need help with this in this committee. But that's why I'm still
Well,
curious to hear and hopeful that there is a support structure for the district there, for the clubs.
not to, we have 4 minutes left, but my goal is to create a membership committee through the district. My goal is to have at least 6 people sit on this by region. And on that, we would meet monthly. And I think that would be a great topic of conversation, is how are your clubs doing? Just like AGs, they have to meet, but as a district, the committees talk about how your membership where you at with your letters, or where you at with this, or where you're at, something from a broader base, so it doesn't fall down to one person. So you have, an area, a regional area that has the ability to kind of help monitor these programs, because I think the more people that are involved, the more you talk about it, the more success we'll have with it. And I agree with, as Joe had mentioned earlier, it's just, if it's a program, it sounds like a great idea, but in 30 days, if somebody either runs out of time or the position changes, we're Rotarians. Some of a lot of us work for a living, and sometimes we work in Missoula, Mississippi, and sometimes we have to work in Washington, and we leave areas. And the best way to have, if there's 5 people, 6 people looking at something versus 1, if that one person goes away, you don't lose all the energy behind it. And I'm hoping to have that done within 6 months. I really want to, that is my recruitment goal, is to get a district-wide membership mindset.
And I applaud that. I think that's.
And I know somebody that will be on that committee.
Janice.
You're on mute,
Janice,
Janice.
you're muted, so I'm sure you're saying, yes, I'd love to serve on that committee.
I'm gonna move real quick. But my new membership chair, Donna, is a real go-getter, and I bet she would like to serve on
Well,
it.
I will probably email you directly, Janice, and we can talk about contacting this new membership chair, and I'll copy you to make sure that she feels welcomed into the fold. How's
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, with that, I believe we have come to the end of our meeting. Are we good with this? Angela, thank you so much for joining in on this. You're one of my top 4 people. Anyway, okay, thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bruce, you want to? No.